Hi, I hope you're enjoying the class so far. Today you're doing your first online only lesson. So don't go into class, just stay at home, work during the class period, and it'll take about 4 hours for you to do the 4 steps that are described. And this is step 2, of course. The first thing I need you to do is to read 3 things. Diane Cantu's article about resilience that's very important in dealing with and in analyzing and understanding the Ernest Shackleton case study. The second thing I need you to understand is and read is Michael Quinn's work on that leadership moment, that quintessential moment when people step up and become a leader. I also have you reading last week and this week the Lessons of the Lost book that I wrote. That's both personal, but also, I hope, theoretical in the sense that it describes and helps you understand how people deal with these extremely stressful moments when all might be lost for them. And with those 3 readings, we're going to move into now a case study. You will be watching a documentary narrated by Liam Neeson, the famous actor, made in 2005 about Ernest Shackleton. If you don't know who Ernest Shackleton was, then this is going to be very impactful. It's an incredibly interesting story about an Antarctic explorer and an expedition that went wrong. And I'm not going to tell you much more about it because I want you to watch it. I want you to immerse yourself in that. And while you're watching it and immersing yourself in it, I want you to think about Quinn's article and Cantu's article and my work on Lessons of the Lost, and focus on that idea of whether or not you think that Shackleton was a great leader or not. Was he a great leader? Did he do something right? Did he do something wrong? Was this vain effort of his to go to the pole bad leadership, or was it not? Think about it in those ways, and then go through and analyze it in your own mind. Where this really becomes valuable then is in step 4 when you move into discussing this with your team. I want you to get together as a team. You can use the conferencing method on Canvas called Adobe Connect, but you can also use FaceTime or anything that you have available to you. But make sure that everybody from your team is online. And I want you to discuss that question about whether or not you think Shackleton was a good leader. Was he a powerful leader? Was he someone who did things right or not? Was he vain? Was he egotistical? What kind of a leader was he? And then take those ideas and use them to answer the quiz questions that we will provide for you. Once you've completed the quiz, have your designated scribe submit that, and we will grade it. Now, I just want to say a few things about Shackleton from my perspective and Lessons of the Lost on this tape. I began writing Lessons of the Lost really about 7 years ago. And I began writing it because I saw a number of cases where I believed that people who were lost in the woods, in the wilderness, where they became disoriented, were following the same psychological patterns as people who became lost in work and in life. And that psychology that parallels is very interesting to me, and it helps us understand how we all become lost when we encounter these kind of difficulties in work life and the wilderness. They are very, very parallel. And the second point I'd like to make about that is that I don't see anyone yet that I've met that hasn't been lost, at least any adult person that hasn't been lost. So lostness is a universal experience. It is an experience that we all feel or have in life. We have, if you've been to junior high in the United States, you've felt lost before. You know what it's like to be lost, and so that's if you've broken up, if you've had a divorce, if you've had parents divorce, if you've had a life crisis, if you've been fired, if you've had mental illness, there are so many ways that we find to get lost, and it is a universal experience. And we go through these periods of lostness, and they are very similar to the periods of people being who are lost in the woods. And so the steps and the ideas and the things that help people get through their lost in the wilderness experience also apply to our own lives. And I'd like to hear your ideas about how they might apply to the Shackleton case. So I hope you enjoy this case. It's actually something I use quite a bit in my teaching because I always get positive feedback from students that they like it a lot. I also hope that if you want to sit and watch this with somebody else, a family member, then that's fine too. Or if you want to get together as a group and watch it together as a group, that's fine. But I hope you enjoy it in any case. Thank you.